Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vays. No guests today. Lots of controversy over the last person I had on my show, and so therefore I'm gonna take a little break and let's get back to the basics. Anyone that thinks I get paid to bring someone on the show, that person is just an idiot. I never started this channel to get paid to advertise anything. So that's actually really disrespectful. Also, I don't exactly have a research department. This is a free channel. And I don't research the history of people, right? Like sometimes I do, and that takes days to do, which is why Crypto Scam has now been coming around once every 4 months, because that's what that show does. So that's just really disrespectful if you think anyone actually paid me to be on the channel. Now, what I did offer is say that any trader or fund that is attending Bali, I'm happy to talk about their trading, and I'm happy to talk about what their fund does and how their fund is trading and tackling the markets live on a show, and ask them critical questions based on trading alone, not personal history, right? So that's pretty much how this YouTube channel has always ran. So anyone that thinks that someone pays me to be here or to advertise, that's just ridiculous. I get emails every day from idiots asking me how much I would charge to let people advertise on my channel. And that's pretty much what they are. Anyone that emails me asking how much it would cost, I give them an answer. Sometimes I say $10 million, sometimes I say $5 million, but it's something that very disrespectful to them for asking the question, something I know they can't afford. And if they say yes, I still wouldn't do it. It's just it's just a reply to make sure that they don't answer again. They don't ask the question again. All right. So having said that, let's just talk about the markets. Okay, let's take a step back and just take a critical look at the markets. So here's the monthly chart. I am back to using the traditional candles, and you can see how we are once again in a bullish monthly candle. We have 3 moving averages on this chart. You have the short term, which I'm using 7-month, the intermediate term, which I'm using 30, and the long term, which I'm using 50-month. You can see how they're all rising and they're all above each other in proper sequence. That means that from a monthly perspective, the Bitcoin is bullish. And if you're holding Bitcoin for the long term, as a long-term hold, there's really not that much to worry about from looking at this monthly chart. Let's go to the weekly chart. The weekly chart is totally neutral. It doesn't matter how big this candle gets for me, because of the way I analyze the markets. It doesn't matter how big this candle gets. The best this candle can become is another green one. And we've seen this before. Oops, didn't mean to move those. We've seen this before. We just recently, let me make this bigger. We recently saw a green one that went as high as $12,300. And according to sequential, which is one of my favorite indicators, that did not trigger a buying opportunity on a weekly scale. And it's a good thing that that did not trigger a buying opportunity on a weekly scale, because look what happened the rest of the week and the following week. So since this high of 12,300, it went all the way down to 9,400, almost a $3,000 fall. And this is why the weekly chart is very, very diligent in activating a trade. Just so that you guys know, according to sequential, which again is one of my favorite indicators to trade, The last time sequential activated a buying opportunity on a weekly scale was in this vicinity, was in the vicinity of a green 2 candle going above a green 1 candle that followed a 9 right here. And that was at a price of $9,400. And over a week and a half span, Bitcoin ran up to 14,000. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone and their mother has to take this trade. It just means that according to sequential, and if you understand how to trade sequential, that is where a bullish trade on a weekly time frame, all other time frames are irrelevant. On a weekly time frame, this is where this trade was activated. The trade before was activated all the way down here. That's where I moved the line from. That was where this green 3 started trading above this green 2 and was trading higher than the 9 candle. And that took place at $5,400. Now, I was going short at this time due to other factors. And my short trade, I exited on a stop loss with a profit, but I did not enter the long trade because I didn't trust the chart. Now, that's me. I didn't take the trade. Doesn't mean that sequential didn't tell you to go long. It just means a human didn't do it. That's all that it means, right? Just because I didn't take the long trade off of this green 4 doesn't mean that the trading system known as the sequential has somehow failed, because it said go long right there, and it said get out. To me, it said get out right here, somewhere in the week of May 27th or the week of June 3rd. They were both calling to get out at $9,100 between the rejection at setup trend dotted line, the reversal doji candle on candle number 8, week of May 27th, and the 9 candle itself showing you weakness on the candle of June 3rd. Now, this short trade or exit would have been short-lived. I expected it to go down further, and the next time a bullish trade was activated according to sequential was at 9,400. That trade went neutral and into cash the moment you had a red 1. And that took place the week of July 15th, and the weekly chart has not activated any trades since July 15th. So we are almost at 2 months. So next week will be 2 months since the weekly chart has signaled a long trade or a short trade. That is sequential. 1 second, guys. Had to sneeze there for a second. Let me check my audio settings. Sometimes that's tough. No, I'm okay. All right. Okay, so let's go on to the daily chart. Let's see what the daily's telling us. No guests, so I can dig into the charts. Okay, the daily chart is in a descending triangle. I am keeping things simple. Let's take a look at the oscillators. Oh, you know what? Let's go back. Let's go back to the weekly. I want to take a look at the oscillators. The RSI is in a bearish posture. It is declining, and it's been declining since May, June, overbought conditions. The CMF, the money flow, is still positive, but if it goes into negative territory, that's not a good sign. Look at the last time it went into negative territory. We had that big crash from $6,000, and the money flow did not get out until March 25th. The money flow was barely negative all throughout May. So the money flow was actually not that bad all throughout 2018. It was barely negative until it got to the end of the year when Bitcoin had that big nosedive. So we don't have to go bearish after we have negative money flow. Now you can see negative money flow got out of its big oversold condition in the summer of 2015, and it dipped right in there in March of 2016, where Bitcoin was already in a bullish uptrend. So nothing much here to worry about, but it is declining. Just be aware. The MACD is concerning to me. The MACD is very concerning. The last time, if we look at the only time the MACD has ever crossed at a higher level than what we just had on a weekly scale is all the way at the top of the market in June, in January 22nd. Okay, now the top had already been made in mid-December, and a month later, and then we proceeded into a very long bear market. Now, if we go backwards and we look at other critical times where the MACD crossed over, this is debatable if the MACD actually crossed over. I mean, like, I can't see any separation between the lines. And actually, if I look at, yeah, there's a little tiny bit here. So, but it's debatable if this thing actually crossed over. This is a real crossover. And that took place in August of 2016. And Bitcoin was basically in consolidation mode at that time. It didn't go up nor go down. Again, a little bit debatable. This is early 2016. It crossed over, but it didn't really separate. So I'm going to ignore this one. Let's see if there were other bear markets where it separated. Here's the one. And this one was in February of 2014, after the top was made in early December or late November of 2013. That was a big flip over. This was, I remember this period. I don't have to look at the chart. I've memorized the price chart of Bitcoin historically. And this is where we thought that the bear market of 2014 had ended, and Bitcoin went up from about $350 all the way to above 700. And then it fell all the way down to 150. And a lot of people thought that it was over, but it really wasn't. And this is where it crossed over to the upside and then crossed over cleanly to the downside once again. So there have, oh, and here's one more crossover, and this happened at the other bubble. Okay, this was that other bubble in the early 2013 bubble. Okay. Here is the OBV, and I'm gonna do this. Oh, the OBV is interesting. The OBV is actually still looking pretty good. The OBV never made it all the way down to its target that I anticipated. And I anticipated this when? Back in October, so before the big crash. So before the big crash at the end of the year, of last year, I didn't anticipate OBV to go lower, but it did not. So it continues to rise, and it's still looking very good, actually, to me. Okay, now let's go to the daily chart. Let's look at the oscillators first this time. This is not good. This is now the third peak in a row, and the RSI, while it's still in the middle and has not reached oversold conditions, it would be nice for the RSI to reach an oversold condition on the daily scale in order to create a nice buy the dip situation. This is now a clean second consecutive. Now, this is the daily chart. We still need a few more days, but notice how the RSI is making, it's going to be hard for me to put a channel on it. So I'll just put a pair of lines. So that's a very clean, downward trend. And I hate to draw it this way, but because I hate wedges, right? And I really don't like wedges. What I want to draw is this. I want to draw it like that. That's a little bit less of a wedge. And in fact, I would love to draw it like that. Like, I want to draw two parallel lines here. That's what I like. I don't like to draw wedges. I think they have too many moving parts. But the point is, you have lower highs and lower lows, and that's not a good sign. That's a bearish sign. Now, the MACD is bullish. It's not greatly bullish. I would love for this to cross the 0 line on the MACD, but there's nothing wrong about a MACD cross. So the MACD is showing bullish tendencies, but remember, the MACD is usually late to the party. And the price has already turned a little bit. And well, on a daily scale, it hasn't. Sorry, on a 12-hour, it has. On a daily scale, the price is still rising. So maybe this has a little bit more life in it left. Okay, so the MACD is not looking too bad at all. The CMF is looking good. I have no complaints. It's looking very, very good and is pointing to bullish. I'm not even sure why I'm looking at OBV here. I'd rather drop the OBV. It's not one of my top indicators, guys. It's just not. Okay, so here we go. So here's the daily chart. The daily chart cleanly opened and closed the candle above the 50-period moving average. Now, normally the 50-period moving average simple is a good metric, but lately in Bitcoin, it has really been not very useful. Okay. And here's a nice, today we are pulling back. And what I really wanted, initially I wanted us to get rejected at 10,000 and pull back and get a bigger bounce from the combination of moving average and the underside of the triangle. Now, what I want and what the market is going to do are two completely different things that don't give a shit about each other, right? Like the market doesn't care about what my opinion is, and I don't really get an opinion from the market. It's like, you talk to God, God doesn't exactly talk back to you. So it's the same concept, right? So because we blew right through 10,000, my perfect scenario would have been a slower move up to 11,000, where I can time a top near the top of the triangle with a 9 or another indication or a reversal candle or something like that. Okay, so that's what I would be looking for. However, that did not happen either, as we went up on a huge day 3 days ago. We had another big day yesterday, and now we're pulling back. Now we can still slowly grind into a 9 near the top of this triangle, in which case I would still be looking for a rejection in that area. Now, if everyone and their mother is looking for a rejection in this area, it becomes very likely that the rejection in this area will be ignored and it goes way higher. And if it does, then this triangle simply gets deleted. Okay, that's all it means. It means that it gets deleted. Now, the daily chart to me remains very slightly bullish, very slightly, with real critical thinking that needs to take place if we get to 11,000 on the daily chart. But the sequential is bullish. When did the sequential go bullish? The sequential went bullish the moment a green 2 started trading above a green 1. That was a bullish trade. Would I have taken this bullish trade? Probably not. Why? Because I would have been looking for a rejection at 10,000, which clearly didn't show up. There's nothing wrong with not taking a trade. This is the difference between trading and investing. Am I an investor in Bitcoin? Yes, I am, because I am benefiting from a rise in the price of Bitcoin because I have a long-term position. Was I interested in risking a short-term position to go long Bitcoin on this green 2 above a green 1? I wasn't. But this is why everyone makes their own decisions, okay? The same thing took place here on this green 2 going above this green 1. It wasn't as good. It didn't come off a level of support, and that was very short-lived. Same thing here. A green 2 above a green 1. This one was cleaner. It had a little more upside because the top of the triangle was higher. It was coming off a stronger bounce at support. This was a better bullish trade on a green 2 above a green 1. Did I take this one? No. Did I take this one? No. Did I take this one? No. I'm being consistent because even though higher level timeframes are bullish, I don't like the posture of this. The only way I would take a bullish trade is at a lower level with better metrics. I would have been way more interested in taking the 93 long trade than I am here. Normally, I say the opposite. Normally, I say taking a long trade at a higher price with a higher probability is the safer trade, but not inside a bearish posture. I know if you're not a full-time trader, you're probably confused, okay? Timing the bottom is hard. It has to be a good risk-reward scenario. Timing this bottom was a slightly better risk-reward scenario than getting in later after the price has moved in your favor. Normally, I prefer the other way around. Normally, I prefer the safer trade after the price has already moved into your favor, but not in this case, because we're inside a descending triangle and I was looking for resistance at 10K. Okay, I think that's it for the daily. The 12-hour topped on a 9. We did this video. I think the last time I did this video, we just started this candle. It was with Jimmy Song. The 9 was about to come, I believe. It was over 24 hours ago. And I was pointing to it, saying that, hey, be careful. The 12-hour is potentially losing all of its momentum. And it made it more interesting when that not only was this a 12-hour 9, there was a 9 on a 4-hour as well, which I pointed out. Well, I pointed out in the Telegram channel, but I also pointed out in the video that this is perfect timing, right? This is why you wait and stay patient. This was a double 9, which I'm starting to like even more now. This was a double 9, and this is what separates my code from the Tom DeMar code. And this was a perfectly timed scenario of a 9 on a 4-hour inside a 9 on a 12-hour. Created a very nice top around 10,750 because this occurred right at the end of this 8 candle going into the 9 candle. And we continue to pull back. This has now gone beyond 1 to 4 candle correction on the 4-hour scale. And I'm now looking for this to go lower at this time. The 12-hour is still within its 1 to 4 candle correction. And the 9-hour can give you a 1 to 4 candle correction. The 4-hour could give you a full-blown 9 to the downside. And you can still be within a bullish 9 on a daily and on a daily scale. So you have to keep that in mind. Oh, why am I switching time frame? Sorry. You can still be within a bullish upswing on a daily scale while playing the 12 and the 4-hour pullback. This is how you utilize multiple time candles. This channel doesn't cater to a single time frame. This channel tries to educate trading across all time frames. So, and keep in mind, you know, the 4-hour and the 12-hour bearishness could turn the daily into a bearish, and then it could turn the weekly into a bearish, right? All moves, all trend reversals have to start on lower level time frames. It's just, you know, a reality of the situation. So if you can time the lower level time frame and it keeps moving in your direction, the higher time frames will turn. It's less likely to happen, but that's how it all starts. That's just the progression of price movements in time. The 15-minute chart, the favorite of one of our usual suspects on this channel, Joe Saz. And he loves the sequential on the 15-minute time scale. It gave him a pair of beautiful 9s to short the market or get out of his long trades right here on September 19th. I'm in UTC time, so 2:45 UTC time. And again, right here at 21:30 UTC time on September 3rd yesterday. As for today, there was one green 9 buying opportunity early this morning, and it wasn't great. I'm assuming he was sleeping. It wasn't a great buying opportunity. It did come off a reversal candle, and it depends on where you set your stop loss. If you set your stop loss below the reversal candle, which is probably the most logical place to do it, you did run up. Wasn't a great trade to go long. Your stop loss could have also gotten hit about an hour later. Probably that's what I would have probably done. I like to keep my stop losses nice and tight. I have in my personal trading, I have zero problem doing 25 trades in a row of losing or making tiny amounts and then doing good on a trade. Like, I have learned lessons not to go for home runs. I like I know it's a baseball analogy. I will just swing away and foul them off. That's what a stop loss at break even is. A break even is, I don't like to lose. I don't like to strike out. I don't like to lose. And I don't care for home runs. So I do like my doubles and triples, though, which is why I will set break-even stop losses all day long until I hit something that I can put a stop loss above break-even and then try to ride it as far as I can. So right now, I believe that this bullish trade off of this 15-minute candle should be completely done, and I would wait for another trading opportunity. And at the moment, there really isn't one on a 15-minute time scale. To me, there isn't. Joe could be the better expert at there now. Total market cap bouncing up a little bit with the rise. I love how Bitcoin dominance continues to rise. That means scam coins like Ethereum continue to fall. And this is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait for this disaster to go to zero and take us all out of our misery. Litecoin is no better. Litecoin has broke a critical level of resistance against Bitcoin. I think Litecoin is going to spiral out of control very, very soon. I think the halving is the death nail in Litecoin. Litecoin has two choices that by end of, I mean, we're going into 2020. I don't think it'll take them 10 years to figure out their two choices. But Litecoin has two choices. They can either restructure, and they're an entity with 3 people making all decisions. So it's totally like they can do this tomorrow if they want to. So here's what Litecoin is going to do. Litecoin will either die and become irrelevant. They will convert to proof of stake the way Zcash is entertaining the idea of converting to proof of stake. That is probably where they're going to go. They can also start merge mining with Bitcoin. I'm not exactly sure how merge mining works, but it seems to be how all of these shitcoins piggyback on Bitcoin and take advantage of Bitcoin's immutability and mining power by merge mining with Bitcoin. So there it is. Either way, Litecoin will become irrelevant over time. I fully trust sequential here. We are on a red 3 weekly of 9. We are on a red 3 countdown of 13. We are going into a second consecutive 9. Look what happened when we bounced off of this 9 back in December of 2018. We had a double 9 to the upside, calling the top in the price of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And it was all downhill from there. And now we are working on a second consecutive 9. I'll flip on the daily chart. The daily chart has just given you a red 2 below a red 1 below the body of the 9 candle. That is a very bearish sign for Litecoin against Bitcoin. That is not looking good. Again, I trust sequential, and look at the moving averages. Sequential on both weekly and daily. Look, if it was bullish, I tell you it was bullish. There are shit coins with a bullish sequential counts. Litecoin is just not one of them. It looks horrendous from a TA perspective. Completely neutral and impartial TA. Has nothing to do with my fundamental look at Litecoin, which is even worse than its technicals. Bcash, another scam coin. It's consolidating, but this is an ugly looking chart. You have a red 3 that has now been below a red 2 on the setup, below the red 1, It's a 2 of 13 sequential. So the sequential is just getting started, okay? Here is the last S13 we had. This S13 is coming from the last 9 that we had. There's the last 9. That 9 came in on a candle whose range was between 0.065 and 0.075. And this 9 finally completed on this 13 here. That's it. That's how you can trust sequential. And it doesn't always happen, but if you do trust sequential, it will get it to you at the lows. Now, and we just kicked off another 13. Now, how much time did this take? From this 9 on September 17th, the week of September 17, 2018, until July. So it took like 9 months, guys. It took September to July. It took 9 months. So, but look how much lower we got. The bottom came in at 0.02. So from 0.07 to 0.02, that was like a 70% decline. So now we had another 9, and the range of this candle was 0.03 up to 0.032. And if we get another 75% decline, I mean, this thing is going down to like 0.01 or something. That's what it did before. I don't see why it can't do it again. I like watching the Binance coin show me negative for the year. I believe that it will go negative for the year against Bitcoin by the time this year ends. This is the top 10, by the way. I wanted to see how the top 10 is performing against Bitcoin. Tether doesn't count because Tether is stable at $1. So not counting Tether, there are 9 shitcoins, all of which are in the 9 out of the the 8 out of the 9 shitcoins in CoinMarketCap's top 10. And the only one that has been a better investment than Bitcoin this year was the Binance token. And give it a few more months. I'm very confident that by the end of the year, this token will also be sub-zero, making Bitcoin a true king as the investment for the year. Okay. Want to spend some time on gold and silver. Here's the weekly gold chart. The weekly gold chart is still rallying towards 1600. That is the next level of resistance, which is the Fibonacci line of 62%. And we have 3 more days to get, 3 more weeks to get there. It would be nice to get a weekly 9 sometime at the end of September in line with the potential short trade. On a daily scale, gold is looking bullish, right? Well, not bullish for a trade, but we're consolidating at the high on a daily scale. All the moving averages are rising. They are all above each other. There's nothing wrong with taking on a bullish trade in gold, even at these high prices. I need one more thing. I need a green number to be above a prior green number. I don't believe that happened today. The high yesterday was 15.58.9. The high today, 15.59.2. It actually did happen, okay? So we do have a green 2 going above a green 1 with everything bullish. That's not bad. You also have a weekly chart that is still in the middle of its upswing. And I haven't looked at the monthly chart in a long time. And the monthly chart is bullish as well. Now, it was very unfortunate for the monthly chart to kick off the big rally on a green 1. Would have been cleaner if it had done it on a green 2, which means as a sequential trader, I would not have taken the trade. But at the same time, I was waiting for a rejection at the 38% Fibonacci because I'm looking for a rejection here. When it doesn't reject, then I become bullish from the 1380 area up to the $1,600 area, more specifically from the $1,400 area. So that was a decent trade. We talked about it back when Tyler was still alive, and Tyler became bullish on gold, and so did I from a TA perspective. I'm still questioning gold from a fundamental perspective. Let's go back to the weekly. Now, silver is interesting. I know I'm not looking at the future of silver. I'm looking at the CFD, but that's only because I have annotations here. And if I switch to the future, I'm going to lose the annotations. This is very, very important. Silver is on a weekly 9. Weekly 9. Silver has had a ridiculous run. Silver has just gone up, and I wasn't even paying attention to it because I don't really care for silver anymore. Silver has just gone up 36%. That's not normal. That's a huge, huge upswing. It is on its weekly 9 with a crazy candle. Glance at the monthly real quick. The monthly is still pretty damn bullish. But look at the daily. The daily gave you a double 13 on Monday and is giving you a 9 with what has all the remnants of a reversal candle right now. If I wasn't running out the house in a few and I started trading again, this is where I am absolutely taking profit from my bullish trades in silver, assuming I had bullish trades. And in fact, I am looking to short. I would be looking to short silver. I would trust sequential. I would wait for this candle to end. And according to rules, according to swing trading rules, the rules are very, very simple. I would wait for this day to end, and I would short silver tomorrow as it breaks the prior candle's low. Now, I know you're giving up a lot here. It would have been great to short at the top, 19.6, instead of shorting at 19.1. That's huge. That's like $1,000 per one futures contract. But, and this is not trading advice by any means, and I'm not making this trade because I'm not going to be sitting there babysitting this trade. If I was to activate this trade tomorrow, it's a beautiful candle, but I don't know if it's going to close this way. So I would be patient. I would consider shorting already, maybe nibble, right? Maybe get in 20% of my trade. And then I would set my stop loss right there. And if the price of silver falls down to, say, 1890, I would be moving that stop loss to break even. And then I would hope that it goes down to 17. And then who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, right? Right now, I am simply looking for a 1 to 4 candle pullback on the daily. And if it goes past a 1 to 4 candle pullback on the daily, I would be looking for a 1 to 4 candle pullback on the weekly. Okay. That's what I'm eyeing. So I'm going to leave these two lines on daily silver, and I'll try to get back to it later in the week. The S&P 500 futures are looking very, very nice. This is looking great. Once we break this green line, I believe we're going to new all-time highs. And all the gloom and doomers can go back to screaming about the plunge protection team. The weekly chart's looking great. We're about to close above the moving average with all of them rising, kind of, on this one. And next week, if you get a green 2 above a green 1, I become bullish as hell. And what's my target going to be? Well, it's going to be the top of this channel. We've done it before. We can do it again. I want to look at Starbucks. Look what happened to Starbucks today. No earnings, no nothing. I don't know what the announcement was. But here's Starbucks. I don't believe we notified the sequential 13 on Starbucks. It's not one of our stocks. But once the notification service, so guys, don't forget about the notification service. I'll tweet it out again. It's still free. It's the links are in the video description, by the way, for the notification service on Telegram. We send about 10 to 20 notifications a day on all the stocks or all the assets, cryptos, stocks, commodities, currencies that are hitting 9s and 13s. I don't believe we called this one. I mean, there's we could be sending 1,000 a day, right? I mean, that's how many assets around the world are hitting 9s and 13s. And you can't trade them all, but you pay attention to them. and you take on high probability trades. This is one of those high probability, well, maybe this wasn't the highest probability trade, but it's an S13 that took a while to complete. It tells you that everything that this 9 has done has completed. The momentum for Starbucks is probably over. And that was a nice indication of getting out of your asset. And let me look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart, wow, look at that. I'm sure we pointed to this. Look at the calls by sequential on Starbucks. We had a combo 13, which I do pay attention to, and a 9 on the setup. Now, the same thing happened here. We had a combo 13 and a 9 on the setup. We had a 1 to 4 week correction, and then we started a new uptrend. And that was great. And here's the new uptrend that ended. And let's see how this goes. If this thing can rally into a green 1 weekly and then a green 2 above a green 1, then Starbucks has more upside. And I'm happy to go long into the trade. But right now, I'd rather be just out of Starbucks. I don't know if I would short at the moment, mostly because the move has already happened. I don't really like to chase stocks. Like, because I didn't short, or because I didn't look at this to even mention the possibility of a short right here after the S13, I wouldn't be rushing into a short now. I would just wait and stay patient. You got to catch these things on the day of or the day after, or even the day before. Getting into it later could be dangerous. Let me look at Lyft and Uber. I believe Uber is on a 9, and it is. So Uber is on a 9. This should be coming through the notification service today if it hasn't yet. Uber is on a 9. And it's a bullish Harami candle, which I like. If I was, and I mentioned this yesterday and the other day, by the way, if I was actively trading, I would be long Uber right now. I know I attempted, well, again, not in the real market, but I talked about going long Uber right here on the breakout of this triangle. And of course, getting your stop loss hit, which is nothing wrong with that, would have been a break-even trade. This is another opportunity. Is it a little late? Uber opened below 31. It's now at 31.73. Everyone should have been watching Uber that was interested in trading Uber, right? Because I've been talking about Uber and Lyft for a long time. So you should have known the 9 was coming. And I don't mind buying early in the day on 9s if it's showing me strength. If it's showing me weakness, then I wouldn't do it. But if the market is rallying in the morning and the stock is rallying, I don't trade the first 15 minutes of the market. So if this rally took place in the first 15 minutes, then there's no way I would have taken the trade. Maybe the first 10 minutes. Let's see what happened in the first 10 minutes. So here's Uber. I'm on UTC -4. I should be on New York time. And is this the opening candle? It is. So Uber opened and it ran straight up. So that means I probably am not taking the trade. I don't like to trade in the first 5 minutes of the market. I mean, it's a special skill to trade in the first 5 minutes of the market. I've done it before. If I had, if I was back full-time trading, maybe I'd take a shot, but probably not. I'm going to turn on the full sequential here and turn this on to let you know where I would have taken this trade. Oh, wow, look at that. The setup trend line actually rejected it. And I would have taken the trade right here. Just 20 minutes ago, actually. That's when I would have taken the trade. It would have been in the afternoon. It would have been on either this green 2 going above that green 1, or that it would be around this line, basically. Hindsight's not exactly 2020. This is only a few cents below where it is now. This is at 31.55, perfect number, above a round number of 31.50. My reasons for doing so, it's You know, it's a green candle going above a prior green candle. It breaks setup trend. It's a 9 daily, and I love the 10-minute time frame. That was my time frame. You know, maybe on a 5-minute time frame, I would have considered taking an early trade, but I probably would not. So this is as honest as I can be about where I would be taking the Uber trade. Had I done this video, had I looked at Uber first on this freaking, like this took place after I started the video, guys. So I wish I took a look at Uber first. But I guess this is also good. I don't want to provide, you know, trading advice or calls. I'm not gonna be here for the rest of the day to watch Uber, and that would be the trade. Now, where would my stop loss be? Well, this is just a 10-minute entry, and this entry, you know, Uber can still go into the red. So I'm gonna go back to the daily chart. My line isn't there, of course, and my stop loss would be below this area. This is where I would put the stop loss, because the 10-minute is only used to enter the trade. The trade decision is based on a daily candle. And what I would set my stop loss is probably around here, around $30 and maybe 39 cents. That would be my stop loss. Well, geez. $30. I want to say 39, but maybe like 48, like that. All right. That gives me enough room below the swing low. It keeps me above a round number of 50. And let's see let's see how this goes. And at the least, I'm looking for a 1 to 4 candle upswing into the moving average. And this is why I stayed so patient on Uber and waiting for a buying opportunity of a swing trade that could potentially turn into a better trade. Do I like buying IPOs that have not fallen 50%? I don't. Uber only fell 25%. I like my IPOs that have fallen 50%, not 25%. So this trade could be short-lived. Speaking of IPOs that fall 50%, let's talk about Lyft. Lyft opened at $87.24. So how far has Lyft fallen? Can't do the math in my head, so we're gonna use the tool set. Lyft has fallen, and look at that, 49.5%. Wow. And if you're watching and you know who you are, one of my friends was asking me about Lyft, and I said, just wait another day or two. Uber can lift Lyft because Uber is on a daily 9, but Lyft is on a sequential 13, which is also a good buying opportunity. So just like Uber, Lyft is rallying because I think Lyft has fallen enough. And I do think Lyft can rally here. Do I think Lyft will rally to new all-time highs? I don't know. Nobody does. And the sequential is on a 3, telling you for more downside. But I will trust the fact that Uber can lift Lyft, and because they're in the same sector. And I just had a combo 13, an aggressive 13, and a sequential 13. So everything from this 9 has played its course. This 9 gave you a 1 to 4 candle correction, accelerated into the countdown phase. Could you have shorted Lyft and made money on this? Of course you could have. Would I have done it? Maybe if I was actively trading. I certainly mentioned the this 9 being a top. So all of this could have been shorted off of this 9. You could have held off your short trade due to earnings and a bullish 9. The break of this red line accelerated your downswing, the way I'm sure I've mentioned it on this channel many times. And now it's time for a potential rally. Where would I be entering this trade? Well, we can look at the 10-minute chart and use the same exact knowledge. I'm not going to use the first 10 minutes to enter the trade. I will wait past the early euphoria of market open, and I would look for the next best opportunity. Ideally, I would love to buy off of a pullback in the afternoon or a breakout in the afternoon with a green 2 above a green 1. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, and here it is. Though, tell you the truth, guys, I don't know how much stock I want to put in the setup trend lines, because you see this 9, it took place on the last candle of yesterday. So I don't really care for this stuff. I don't really care for this green 1, because it's not using the prior 10-minute candle. It's using the candle from yesterday, and it's totally irrelevant. So I wouldn't care about the sequential at any point until here. This is the first candle that I care about with sequential. And look at that. I'm buying off of a pullback in the afternoon and off a breakout. So where would I be looking to buy this thing? Well, these are 2 reversal candles in my sweet spot of the 10 to 11 a.m. reversal, followed by strength. So when am I getting into this trade? If I was actively trading, probably at the earliest right here on this green 1, even preemptively jumping the green number going above a prior green number, because I'm already bullish off of the reversal candles that are taking place in the sweet spot of reversing in early afternoon. Worst case scenario, you're in right here at a green 3 going above a green 1. Now, in this particular case, your stop loss is the same. Your stop loss is the low of today. Unlike Uber, where your stop loss is the low of yesterday, on Lyft, your stop loss is going below today's low. Now, I'm going to remove this and do it on a daily scale, but it's exactly the same. Your entry, wait, and I'm going to leave these on because I want to see how this develops. So let's split the difference here, right? Let's say you got in a little bit here on this green 1, and then you add it to your position on a green 2, green 3 going above a green 2. So your average entry, let's use round numbers here, is 45.50. Let's say it's 45.50. Maybe 45.51. I like getting in above round numbers. So 45.51 is your entry. I'm gonna get rid of this line. I'll leave it. I'll put it on a daily scale as well. I am gonna cut this video in about 5 minutes, guys. Maybe. So this is the stop loss down there. The stop loss will go just below the swing low. 44.64. Not exactly where I'd like it. Maybe 44.48, just like with Uber. Is it exactly like Uber? No, I think Uber was 30 in the 30s. Let's do this. Coordinates. 44.48. That's the stop loss. That's the initial stop loss. I want to raise it as soon as possible. Where is, and I might even get out. The moment I see Lyft going to shit, you can always get out. There's nothing wrong with getting out early. The problem is this is a stop loss I would not move. There is an exception, and those that watched my entries, exits, and stop losses know what that exception is. I'm not going to talk about it on a free YouTube channel. You have to go and buy the entries, exits, and stop losses course. And the entry is, what do we say? I already forgot. 55? 54, 55? Let me see. Let me put the line in. What do we say the entry was? Oh, I should get rid of it because it comes through. So the entry would be, I'd split the difference. So, yep, 51, 45, 51. 52, whatever. Close enough. There it is. So there it is. So that's a clean trade. That's what should have been done this morning. If you care to trade these safely, low risk. What's your risk? 45.50, 44.50, $1 on a $45 stock. That is your risk. That is quantifiable. What's the reward? I have no idea. Hopefully Lyft will cure cancer and it goes to $1,000. I have no idea what the reward's going to be. All right, I'll take a look at a few more stocks. But before I do that, guess what, guys? Tonebase.com. Check it out. Oh, Q&A. I'm doing a Q&A this Saturday. I forgot to mention that. We're opening it up. It's priced. We're testing out a new system. We're pricing this at $50 USD. So it's $50 USD. And it just converts to Bitcoin. You can pay in USD if you like. We're testing the website out with $50 USD. That's why it says it's 0.0047 Bitcoin. We really do need to display that it's $50. That would be ideal. So it's $50 payable in Bitcoin or US dollars. And it's a 3-hour AMA, kind of like the one I did last Saturday, only this one is going to be more serious for people that really want to ask their questions. There will be a Telegram group for those that sign up. You can ask your questions ahead of time if you want to make sure they get answered. I will try to answer as many questions as I can in the 3 hours. You can ask me about, it's private, it's not public. You can ask me about coins. You can ask me about shit coins. You can ask me whatever you like. And we'll see if these work, because it's kind of like a Patreon thing, only I don't really, I haven't figured out how to use Patreon, so just doing it through my own website. And I might be, oh, you know what, let me not even say it, because then people are going to email me and ask. I might be doing another in-person workshop in Europe, but it will be listed here probably today or tomorrow. That's it, guys. Calendar, just check out where I'm traveling to. This is it. I am starting, there it is. There's the workshop. Oh, why is it on Sunday? It's supposed to be Saturday. That's a mistake. Hold on. Wait. September 8th. Is that Saturday or Sunday? Calendar. Oh, crap. This needs to be Saturday, not Sunday. Though I guess I could do it Sunday, but no, I got to drive to Washington. Sorry, we'll change the date. This is going to be Saturday. Let me actually email my team. Hold on. I'll do that now. Okay, so this is going to get moved to Saturday. So remember, if you're registering, make sure that you know that it's going to be on Saturday, not on Sunday. Honey Badger, Hackers Congress, and hey, you can come to this for free, guys. CC Forum in London. I tweeted out a, I don't know how many seats they have for free, but like, hurry up. If you want to come to this conference for free, I have a discount code. Like it'll turn your registration into a free one. So you may want to hurry up. And then, of course, the Bali event. Here's the Bali event. I still haven't cleaned cache. Yeah, so Socrates' picture isn't coming up. And over here, there'll be funds. There will be a section here for algorithmic funds and hedge funds that are looking for traders. So check it out. You get a lot of free stuff with your subscription. And here's the hotel. We definitely sparing no expenses here. And it's a high price ticket event, and you get a lot for it. All right, so check it out. More info will be on this website very, very soon. All right, that's it. Unconfiscatable registration, hopefully this week. Still working on that. All right, do I want to look at any more stocks? Let me look at DuPont. No, I don't see anything interesting here. Double bottom, bearish posture, sequential isn't helpful, gaps a lot. Not a stock I would really look to trade. Still keeping an eye on Titan. Oh boy, Titan is in trouble. This thing can really collapse. Another leg down. Got to go to the weekly. Oh, that's bad. A red 2 next week below a red 1, and this thing can accelerate into a red 9. The next level of support is all the way at 700 from 1,000. That's another 30%. Titan looks bad. It's an Indian stock. I called it the trade of the decade on this channel when I saw the monthly, weekly, and daily 9s. And the monthly is not looking good, but it still has some support. But after that, it's another 700. So I am looking for Titan to potentially go as low as 700 from 1,400. That is a nice 50% correction. Budweiser has been an interest of mine. Don't remember why. Oh, that's the monthly chart. Yeah, this is why. Budweiser had a 913 on a weekly, right at setup trend that it couldn't break. Continues to be in a bearish posture weekly, and daily it's kind of consolidating, and it had a daily 9 as well. If you've made your money on this short trade, you may want to look for other assets. I certainly wouldn't jump into it now, but this is why you got to spot these beautiful 9s on dailies that happen to be inside weeklies, and good things can happen. So this was almost a 10% move from the opening on that week on Monday to the low. Obviously, no one's going to get out at the perfect low. I know I can't. So worst case scenario, exiting now, 7%. That's not bad for a stock in a month. That's not bad. And the majority of that move took place in the first 2 weeks. Amazon at 1,800. I don't believe it's in a. I don't believe it's going to break down. I don't believe it's. I mean, it's in a hyperwave, but I don't believe it's going to break down. I believe Amazon will go to new all-time highs. Google probably will as well. Netflix, on the other hand, is scaring me a little bit here, but Netflix on the weekly next week could be a buying opportunity on a weekly, and the daily could align with that, right? So you can get daily 9 inside a weekly 9 on Netflix, and Netflix can bounce. I think we talked about this in depth with Socrates this past weekend. And Tilray, I promised I would keep an eye on Tilray. And there it is. We've been warning, and when DJ Thistle came on my show, we talked about Tilray potentially bottoming out sometime in early September. Yesterday's candle came a little unexpected. I was honestly thought it had a little more downside to go, and picking it up, next week on a weekly 9 and a daily 9 together. The market had other plans, and basically almost to the day of when did we talk about it? I think we talked about it on this day, and we talked about how we were both were pretty bullish on Tilray after it has fallen so much, and literally the next day of trading, the stock bounces. I was looking for a low later in the week, but hey, markets have other plans. But go back to my interview with DJ Thistle, and we discussed the fundamentals, we discussed the technicals, and we were both looking forward to a Tilray bounce to the upside sometime in the first 2 weeks of September, and it literally happened the next day. So there it is. AMD is not interesting. NVIDIA, a little more interesting, a little more bullish. And Roku's topping, I think. Let me see. The daily is not. The daily is all systems go. It's the weekly. It's the weekly that's concerning, right? So the weekly is, it's not a double 9, it's close, but the weekly is on a 9. But look at the daily. Your daily is not aligned. Your daily was on a 9 and a reversal candle. Now, the rules, I do have to go, guys. The rules on this, you're supposed to wait for the reversal candle to be confirmed a reversal candle by trading lower than the reversal candle. Now, if you shorted the 9, which I wouldn't blame you for doing that, if you shorted this daily 9 because you knew that the next day a weekly 9 is going to open, your stop loss should have already been hit. Even the most loose stop loss, according to sequential, should have been this line here, because the current candle could go all the way to $200. So right now, what would I be doing? I would be just watching. I would never go long on a green 1 above a green 9, and I would consider going long on a green 2 above a green 1, but not when the weekly is on a 9. This is something I would do when the weekly is like on a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even an 8, but not when the weekly is on a 9. So right now, I am looking for a top. Can we get a top next week? Yes. Can the daily make it to yet another 9? That would be sweet. If this thing can rally all the way to 190 and give me a double 9 on a daily a few days after the weekly 9 has completed, that would be an even better potential top in Roku. And that's how you trade. Like if you expect this weekly 9 and daily 9 combination to immediately make you a millionaire, you're going to find out real quick why you're not going to be a trader anymore. But because the way this daily 9 and weekly 9 are lining up, there are 5 candles here. So this was Monday. This is Tuesday. Or this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, sorry. So we could get a daily 9 on a weekly candle that follows a 9, which is still clean. It's still the vicinity. So both of these 9s, the one that happened on candle number 8 weekly and the one that will happen on candle number 1 following a 9 weekly, they're both legitimate. And they could be 20% apart because markets move quick. So you have to react quick. And I would keep this on my watch list. And I would absolutely look for a potential top in, like, look here. Look at this. Like we had a monster run up. I don't know what the weekly looks like. We had a monster run up with a 9, and then it went higher, and then it gave you another 9, though that flipped over, and then it topped the candle after. So it doesn't have to turn on this 9, and this would have been a difficult trade. I probably would have missed it, or I probably would have been stopped out either way. But trading isn't easy. I like the way sequential behaves on this asset. 1 to 4 candle correction into the countdown phase. The countdown phase ends, gives you a couple of 9s. This one was off by 1 candle on the top again. Broke setup trend, so the countdowns end. Buying opportunity here, again, didn't mark the perfect top, but close. This 9 kicked off the countdown phase. The countdown phase ends here and up there right at the high. Nice. This countdown is still going, and that countdown ended here. And then we kicked off another rally. Okay, that's fine. And I'll be watching it. All right, guys, that's it. That's it for me. That's enough. Once again, check out the Financial Summit in Bali, October 19 to 25. If you are a fund or a trader with either a YouTube channel, a blog, a following, happy to get your description and your picture on the site for attending. This is a small event. It's probably going to be about 20 people, so everyone has lots of time to network. If you're a fund looking for traders, same thing. We can get your fund on the website and with a description. This is mostly a networking event for traders, hedge funds, with some education from senior traders that have experience. So check out Bali. All right, guys, that's it for me. 1 hour is good. And I will see you all. Well, actually, stop the screen share. Say goodbye to you guys. Back on the road this week, and I won't be back for a while. So we'll see how often I can keep doing these videos. And we'll see about the guests. We'll see what happens with guests going forward. I know I'm not going to be doing investigative research on the history of guests. So either we'll have less guests, or I'm only going to pick from guests that are already here. But if you don't like the guest, as I asked them about trading, you don't have to listen, guys. You really, really don't. That's kind of how the format is. Don't have enough time to be an investigative. Don't have enough time to be a private detective. So yeah, it's how it's going to work. Later, guys.